Okay, so what we have here. First off, my name's Jerry. This is my shed where I do all sorts of fun and very interesting and crazy projects. Today, what I'll be showing you is actually how I repaired a Dune Buggy knuckle assembly, if you will. I'll call it that. So essentially, what this is a component from the front of a Dune Buggy that would sit almost acting like a, I guess, strut assembly in a way. So the strut actually sits right here behind it. This connects the upper control arm and lower control arm, and this is the tie rod end to give you perspective. And the wheel, ordinarily, would sit right here on an axle with tapered roller bearings. So to give you a little backstory, what happened was, what the customer said happened was, kids were riding around the go-kart and they hit a pretty gnarly jump or bump or whatever and sheared the axle bolt, I guess you could say, or whatever this assembly had originally. It's basically a stud like this, clean off, just like this is here, clean off the actual assembly. And it was the strangest thing, but honestly, I just blame very cheap materials and poor craftsmanship. So instead of having him order a new one, what I said to him was I would make him a new one with what he had. And new to him, at least. What it'll be is basically, it's actually just a nut and a bolt. Not nut and bolt, sorry. So essentially it's this. This is the other end, not the business end, the other end of a, I believe it's 7/8, no, not a 7/8, 5/8 bolt with a 3/4 inch hex head on the other side of it. So it'll look like this, actually, obviously with a collar, but you get the idea. So what I did to beef it up a notch, because the design on this was very poor from the factory, what I thought. So instead of having him go ahead and order a new one, wait 3 months for it to get here from China, I instead took it upon myself to fabricate my own. Very bushwork, not really, anything professional, but definitely stronger than what will come new. So just a quick rundown as to what I did. So pretty much what I did was I took what I had with this so far. I chopped off this brace right here, or bracket, whatever you want to call it. And I took what was left of the actual bolt itself from the factory. This piece right here. This is actually what was left from that. And it was very, haphazardly put in there. I'm not really a fan of how they did this at all. So you could see, obviously, this was what was there. So anyways, what it looks like they did was they actually just welded the head of what originally came on this stud to the backside of this brace, which in theory sounds good if you had a good bolt and a big enough bolt. But it looks like it just didn't have enough strength to withstand what they were doing, and it just snapped over time. I'm not too sure if it broke or was cracked from the beginning, whatever. But anyways, so I proceeded to cut this this carrier off with the hinge and everything, exposing this piece, and then I just nicked it off with the cutoff wheel, and there you have it. It was free. So picture just a clean tube. I marked out where it originally sat, so this way I knew where to re-weld it. And then what I did was I took actually the other end of this bolt and chamfered, or basically channeled out a small groove on both sides. So originally this part right here with the threads and everything was the original part that had broken off, and I took the other end, which is the head of the bolt, you'll see it in the video, And I welded it to the other end of this. Heated it up, went through the whole process of going, like changing colors and stuff like that. You'll see it all, how I did it, and then how I assembled it. But yeah, this is what I came out with. This is the final product. Was pretty happy with it. Basically just returned this section to its original spot, and then just restructured it a little bit and stitched in a washer, so this way it had enough back spacing for the actual wheel to sit on there, because essentially the way the wheel sits on there in the assembly, I'll show you the wheel real quick. So basically, this is your tire thing. So to give you an idea, if you can see inside of there, this piece right here has the inside of the axle has two tapered roller bearings on both sides of different diameters. That's why you couldn't use just an ordinary bolt of the same diameter, because this has a shoulder to it, one being one diameter. I believe the inside was, don't quote me on this, but it's like a 1/2 inch, and the outer side is obviously like another 1/8 shy. So I'm not 1,000% sure what that maths out to, but essentially I couldn't just stuff an ordinary bolt in there. But this is how it comes all together. If I can put it on the right side, that's how it comes all together. So if you could see, it comes in through that side, and on this side you have plenty of clearance, and it rolls just fine. So that should be a lot sturdier and a lot beefier than it originally was. Like I said, it's not really going to see the kind of force or G's that, you know, an ordinary car is going to see, but it'll certainly be stronger than what was on there, and make my buddy pretty happy. So there you have it. After this, you'll see me install, or not install, but rather fabricate, kind of in sequence, all of this madness. And yeah, and then after that, I just threw some black paint on it. So looks pretty good, and I'm happy. Thanks for watching.